The Patriots beat back the high-powered Minnesota Vikings, and Tom Brady gets 1,000 yards rushing. My name is Mike Petraglia. This, of course, is Evan Lazar. This Patriots post-game report is brought to you by 1-in-100. Go to 1in100.co now and register for your chance to win in a raffle killer Pats, Bruins, and Celtics tickets for the cost of a pizza or a large beer. Again, 1in100.co. Go there and register today. 24-10, the Patriots take care of business. They're now 9-3, hot on the heels of the Kansas City Chiefs, one game back in the AFC. But the big story here today, Evan, a couple of storylines. First of all, the emergence of Josh Gordon in the second half with a pair of two big 24-yard receptions, the second of which being the 24-yarder for the touchdown.
Yeah, everyone on Twitter is freaking out, like, where's Josh Gordon? The Vikings secondary is banged up. Why aren't they attacking the Vikings secondary? I think, and this is just a theory, I think that Josh McDaniels was saving Josh Gordon for the third and fourth quarter of this game. I think he knew that if you went to Josh Gordon early, then Mike Zimmer would go to the tape during halftime and make some adjustments. They made them adjust to the short passing game, and then they went the other way in the second half and went with the longer passes to Gordon, a couple to Gronk as well. I think that they were kind of saving Josh Gordon for the second half, and it ended up working out for them.
Big game James, not White, Devlin, a pair of touchdowns on dives in this game and really played a huge role. And, you know, a couple of people were theorizing after the game in the locker room and in the press conference room that the Patriots got a little too cute, especially going into halftime when they, on third and short, went with that jet sweep, direct snap to James White. Yeah. In the second half, they got back to more of a power game. James Devlin scored his second touchdown on a dive. Do you think there's some validity to that?
To the bad play calling
and the Patriots getting back to the bruising type of football.
Yeah, so I think that in terms of the play calling, obviously I think the goal there was to get outside the tackles because it's a very, very staunch defensive front. You're running right at Linval Joseph, who's one of the best nose tackles in the game. I think they liked their success on the outside a little bit better in those short yardage situations, but what I really liked about James Devlin is the Patriots' success rushing on the goal line has kind of been a storyline all season. They were tied for 24th in success rate on the goal line. Only 44% of the time were they scoring a touchdown on those plays, which is very low for the league average. So this last couple of weeks, but really this week in particular, they've said, forget about the tailback in the eye back, and forget about the off-tackle runs to Sony Michel. We're going straight ahead with our battering ram, our fullback, on a bunch of fullback dives. And, of course, they were obviously a lot more successful. So maybe James Devlin, you know, you've kind of been looking for that goal line back. Who's your LeGarrette Blount this year? Maybe it's just James Devlin. I think it's going to work out for the Pats.
All right. I wrote earlier in the week the defenses and the secondary in particular is going to get tested against the Vikings in December and against the Steelers in 2 weeks in Pittsburgh. What a great performance today by the secondary on Adam Thielen, leading the NFL in receiving, and Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, so with Thielen, I talked to both Jason McCourty and Stephon Gilmore kind of after the game, and most of the things that they said were kind of crediting it to the game plan and to the coaching staff and kind of studying up on these guys before the game with film study and really knowing the tendencies, what they were going to kind of see out of certain formations, their body language, all those types of little things that could give them kind of a tell and kind of allow them to anticipate the routes that they were running. And I saw that a lot out there, was that especially Jason McCourty, he was in Adam Thielen's back pocket the entire game because I think he really kind of was anticipating a lot of the routes that Thielen was going to run, especially out of the slot. And then Gilmore told me that he got up in Stephon Diggs' face because he noticed on film that a lot of the catches that Diggs has is when he gets a free release off the line of scrimmage when the corner's playing an off coverage. So he decided, you know what, I'm going to jam him at the line. I'm going to play press coverage. I'm going to get up in his face, and that was successful for them. And a couple of the catches that Diggs did have, a few of them came on some quick screens out to the wide receiver and that kind of stuff. You noticed that, you know, Gilmore was playing off of him, and then when he got up in his face, it was, you know, a completely different story. So film study, I think, was crucial for the Patriots in this game. And J.C. Jackson, I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about him a little bit more, but I told you that I was the most impressed out of maybe any of the Patriots corners. A huge game for him. Really impressive ball skills, which he's shown all year, but really the ability to stay in phase on that double move at the end of the game where he tipped the pass to Duron Harmon for the interception was huge.
All right, we heard a lot about the mug blitzing of Mike Zimmer and the Vikings defense coming in.
Yeah.
Looked like the Patriots were giving the Vikings a little bit of dose of their own medicine, and the pressure and I asked Bill Belichick this, on first and second down seemed to put the Vikings in third and long quite a few times in this game.
Yeah, the pressure was great, and the pressure has been something that has been coming, I think, all season long. They were 8th in the league in pressure percentage, according to PFF, a stat that, like, I tweet out and people are shocked to hear that. They're like, really? That doesn't pass the eye test. But one thing that I will say is that they've been awesome all year at getting unblocked pressures. They lead the league in unblocked pressures, which is all scheme, right? It's all, the D-line stunts or the disguised blitzes, that kind of stuff, and they had plenty of those. Trey Flowers was just running through the center of the Vikings O-line unblocked a couple of different times in this game. I really thought that the team scheme and the team pressure up front and the ability to trust the guys behind them to know that those guys that didn't need a ton of extra help against Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs, and they could play one-on-one on the outside and bring some blitzes and bring some exotic pressure schemes, was really cool to see, and a step forward for this defense. You have corners at the back end and safeties in the back end that the coaches can trust to cover guys on an island. You have the ability to play some more single high safety and allow those guys up front to get after the quarterback.
All right, we've gone this long and we haven't talked about what everybody's going to be talking about probably tonight and on Monday morning, and that is Adam Thielen versus Bill Belichick. Late in the game, second challenge of the day for Bill Belichick, one he would eventually lose on 4th and short. Yeah. It was Patrick Chung going down with an injury, giving Ernie Adams and the Patriots an extra couple of seconds to review the call. Eventually they did challenge, but Adam Thielen said that was BS and got it too close to Bill Belichick. Yeah. And Bill Belichick said, you know what you can do? Yeah. Shut the you-know-what up. Yeah. And it was really very fascinating. Devin McCourty told me after the game, it's great to see Bill out there fighting for his players and getting into it. We see it every day in practice. What did Adam Thielen tell you?
Adam Thielen was very candid about it afterwards, and he's a pretty stand-up guy. He stood up in the locker room, right in the middle of the Vikings away locker room here at Gillette Stadium, and answered every single question that the media threw at him, both about Jason McCourty's performance on him and also about the exchange with Belichick. And basically he said the exchange with Belichick, he thought it was cheap. He thought that Patrick Chung kind of took a dive, kind of faked an injury, got that injury timeout, allowed the Patriots to review the play a little bit longer. He used the word cheap. He thought it was a kind of a cheap play, and he said there's no rule against it, so there's not, you really can't enforce that. And he said if he was hurt, if Patrick Chung was hurt, then he apologizes and it would change his tune. But he really felt that Patrick Chung was faking an injury, and it kind of gave the Patriots an advantage there.
Cheap or not, the Patriots walk out of here with a 24-10 win. They're now 9-3 on the season. They have the Dolphins on the road next week, and that's followed up by a huge, obviously, road game in Pittsburgh against the Steelers. This Patriots postgame report brought to you by 1-in-100. Go to 1in100.co now and register for your chance to win in a raffle Killer Pats, Bruins, and Celtics tickets for the cost of a pizza or a large beer. That's 1in100.co. For Evan Lazar, I'm Mike Petralia, CLNS Media.